You know the feeling, right? You walk into a networking event, you glance at the clock, and bam, you've got 30 minutes. The pressure's on, the clock is ticking, and the room is just buzzing with people you feel like you have to meet. Well, we're going to talk about a much better way to handle that. So, what's your go-to move? For most of us, our brains just switch to a default setting. We go into overdrive, trying to shake as many hands, collect as many business cards as we possibly can before our time is up. But let's be real. Is that actually the best plan? And this really gets to the heart of the problem. On one hand, you have the common mistake, treating networking like it's some kind of numbers game. It feels productive, doesn't it? Just maximizing the volume. But on the other side, you see the real risk. You end up having a bunch of conversations that are so shallow they mean absolutely nothing. And the result? Nobody remembers you. You're just another face in the crowd. This all comes down to a huge misunderstanding of what networking is even for. So it's time we bust this myth of volume, the idea that more is always better. Because when you're in a short, focused session, that chaotic approach of trying to do more, it actually gets you less of what really matters. This quote just nails it. Let that sink in for a second. The real goal isn't to walk away with a fat stack of business cards. The real goal is recall. It's about this. Did you make enough of an impression that someone actually remembers you the next day? And more importantly, remembers why they should. So, okay, what's a realistic goal then? Well, the key number to remember is 2 to 3. That's it. In a 30-minute window, you can realistically have 2 or 3 truly meaningful conversations. And you've got to stop thinking of that as a limitation. It's not. It's the goal. It's about going deep, not wide. All right, so if the old meet absolutely everyone plan is busted, what do we replace it with? Let's break down the 3 connections strategy. This is a simple, really purposeful game plan that's going to completely change how you look at these events. Here's how it works, and it's so simple. First, your goal is to find one person for insight. You're not looking for a job, just a new way of thinking about something. Second, find one peer, someone who's right there in the trenches with you, facing the same kinds of challenges. Honestly, these can become the most valuable relationships you build. And third, and this is so important, leave one slot completely open for chance, for that unexpected, spontaneous chat that could lead literally anywhere. And you know the best part of thinking this way? It's the feeling. That frantic pressure to meet everybody in the room. Poof, it's gone. Instead of all that anxiety, you walk in with a clear, totally achievable mission. Your 30 minutes suddenly have a real purpose beyond just, looking busy. So knowing who to talk to is half the battle. Awesome. Now let's get into the other half, how to make those conversations actually count. This is all about getting past the boring small talk and into something with real substance. Think about this, 8 to 10 minutes. I know to a lot of us that sounds like an eternity to spend with just one person at a networking event, but that's the time it takes. That's how long you need to get past the, so what do you do? And into something real. You just can't rush it. So, how do you know if a conversation was actually meaningful? Well, here's your test. You know it worked if you walk away with something tangible. Did you get a totally new perspective on something? Did you connect with someone over a challenge you both share? Or did you land on a solid idea for a follow-up conversation? If you can't check one of those boxes, that conversation probably stayed in the shallow end. Okay, let's bring it all home. The real goal here is to shift your mindset from collecting contacts to actually creating connections. Let's put everything we've talked about into a simple action plan you can use every single time. Here it is, your pre-game checklist. Before your next 30-minute networking sprint, just run through this in your head. Find your insight target, find your peer target, and keep that third slot open for anything. Then you have to make a promise to yourself. No more than 3 conversations. That is the entire plan. Simple, right? And look, let's be totally honest about the trade-off here. You will walk out of that room with a shorter list of names. You just will. But, and this is the whole point, the names you do have will belong to people you had memorable, meaningful conversations with. They'll be stronger connections, and at the end of the day, that is what actually matters. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final question to think about before you head to your next event. What's your real goal? Are you there just to collect contacts, or are you there to create connections? The choice is yours.